Turn your mic on. Call to order and let's roll.
Is that already going? We need to shut that door. Or are we gonna leave it open? Leave it open?
Yeah, it's
I call this meeting to order.
Councilman Byron Stillman,
Here.
Councilman Jonathan Heisey,
Present.
Councilman Rob Jones,
Here.
Councilman Ron Cardwell,
Here.
Councilman Matthew Myers,
Here.
Mayor Kurt Mayo.
Here. If you'd stand with me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You'd stay standing. Dear gracious God, we come to you tonight, Lord, and we just thank you for all the blessings that you give us, Lord. We just pray that everybody would continue to seek you, Lord. We ask that you would be over us tonight and help us make good decisions for our city. Lord, we just pray that you keep everybody safe from the upcoming weather. You can keep the wind, Lord. We're done with it. In your name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
Moving on to the consent agenda. Rob, would you like to pull anything?
Yes, item G and item Q.
G. Item Q. Mr. Heisey?
No.
Matt?
no, sir.
Ron?
No, sir.
Byron?
Item I.
I'm gonna do this a little different tonight. Let's go to item G.
Okay. I just have a question about the reason for this right-of-way dedication. Was it sidewalks or what's the reason for it?
So per our ordinance, whenever they do a lot split application,
Okay,
we get a 17-foot dedication from that.
perfect, okay.
Oh, yeah. Rob, you want to go ahead and go to Q?
Yeah, just a comment. I know we can't write the Canadian County Youth and Family Services rules, but I think it's a shame that it says there that any child that shows up there for whatever reason, for what they've done wrong, has to be accompanied by a parent. Why can't it be just a guardian or aunt or uncle or somebody? Because a lot of times the problem is the parents, you know? And I know we can't make them change it, but I would suggest that to them if somebody would.
What page is that on, Rob?
That is on page 127. See, sometimes the kid that needs the help the most might get overlooked because of that exact rule, in my opinion.
Okay. Yeah, I guess we're gonna have to go to their board about that.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Item I.
Yeah, I was looking at this. It looks like last year's contract. Am I missing something here?
Chief Logan. Oh, yeah.
I can tell you, it's a continuous renewal. So
Okay.
that's how it's set up. And I know we don't have, I guess this will be our second year in our continuous renewal.
Okay, so the pricing is current?
Yes, nothing is changing.
Okay, that's all I needed to know. Thank you.
Good job.
Thank you, Chief.
Move to approve the consent agenda items A through R.
Second.
Rob?
Aye.
Matt?
Aye.
Jonathan,
Aye.
Ron,
Aye.
and Byron.
Aye.
Item 7, citizen comments. We do have a nice little clock this time, so you guys know that I'm not cheating anybody. You will have 3 minutes to speak. Please wrap it up within the 3 minutes. We have 20 minutes allotted to this. At that time, we will have to vote as a council to extend that time. Start with Mr. Andy Mivas. If you'd please get up, state your name and your address, please. He's on his way. Would you come up to the mic, please?
I really didn't want to speak. Andy Mivas, 4320 Moffett Road. I really didn't want to speak, but the last time I was here, everybody was against this AI database. Okay, everybody's got their opinion. This city needs something to bring in some tax dollars to build some infrastructure. They're hollering about when school's in session, they can't flush second-story water in their house. Well, that's not the AI problem. That's the infrastructure problem. And that's because they ain't got the money to fix it. A housetop is not paying taxes to the city. They're paying it to the county. We need money coming into the city. And I think the AI can help them do that. And I was a little bit embarrassed about them. They decided, being you didn't want to vote their way, that you all were even listening to it, they just kick you all out. I think that's an embarrassment to the city myself. I hope you all are looking at the whole picture and make it right for the city. Thank you.
Thank you. Rodney Jones.
I'm going to try and be a little bit more succinct this time. Number one, I'm still talking about this, which is the Comprehensive Plan 2040. They're talking at Cloverleaf and whatever about a closed loop system. They still have not produced any kind of information that I'm aware of that's reliable. For example, an EPA study or review of long-term effects of or reality of these things. All I know is verbal assurance. Water supply. Exactly where is the water going to come from? They're talking about, oh, we're going to build a tower. Okay, how are you going to fill the tower? How are you going to run all those water lines, and how many of the 213 or 218 miles of water line that's subsize that we have now are they going to replace when they do that? Pump stations, we've got pump stations, we've got like 3 towers. Is that all we need is a tower? Why don't we already have it? They're talking about putting it on the land. They say nothing about landscaping. If they plant flowers, trees, anything else to make it pretty, they're going to have water. Does Piedmont have a supply to keep a water tower filled? I don't think so. These questions need to be answered, not verbally. We need it documented how it's going to happen, and we need plans. Stormwater drainage. I don't care what he says. He says, oh, I've got this one location and we've got the stormwater so it doesn't flood downstream like it always has in the past. Well, that isn't here. Has there been a study here about the drainage off that property when you put that much concrete in there? Wildlife and insect impact. I don't know about y'all, but this time of year we have June bugs. They are drawn to lights. How about the other critters? How about other wildlife? And this thing's going to be built on right next to the Chisholm Trail. What happened to the 2040 that said, let's enhance the historic value of Piedmont by highlighting the Chisholm Trail as it exists? Thank you.
Levon. Miss Levon. Levane, my bad. Looks like an O to me.
My name is Levane Val. I live at 7355 High Meadows Lane. My family has been a part of this community for almost 30 years. As newlyweds, we searched out our land and decided where we wanted to be. We live off of Moffett and High Meadows Lane, which is not very far from these proposed developments. We didn't end up there by accident. We chose it. We built our home in rural agricultural area so that we could raise our children in a certain way. We homeschool, we grow our own food, vegetables, cattle, chickens. We homeschool and we rely on everything that's out there. My kids, that is our school for our kids. We teach them about the way of life. We work the land, we hunt, we do all those things out there because that's what it was zoned for that. Like I said, we rely on our well water. It's our living is a quiet environment with dark skies, low traffic, and surrounding wildlife. And I know that we just got fiber out there. We didn't have that. In our house, we ran off of Wi-Fi. I don't mean to sound like we're a little house on the prairie. We do have modern day amenities, but these are the things that were important in raising our family. This is not just where we live, it's our way of life. The proposed zoning and developments of the data center within the close proximity to our home threatens to change that in ways that cannot be undone. First, the water. The data centers require significant water resources. We rely entirely on well water. Any strain on the aquifer or risk to the groundwater quality is not a theoretical for us. It directly impacts our health and our land and the ability to live the way that we do. Second, the character of the area. Increased infrastructure, traffic, and constant industrial noise from cooling systems not compatible with rural life. Once that changed, there's never going back. Third, property value. Our home is our largest investment, and we built it based on the expectation that this area would remain agricultural. Introducing industrial scale developments creates uncertainty and can certainly reduce surrounding property values. And honestly, moving to another place might not be an option for us. We are not against progress, but progress should not come at the expense of families who have built their lives around the existing zoning. I respectfully ask that you deny this rezoning request and the data centers, or at the very least, require full transparency and thorough studies on water usage, environmental impact, and long-term community costs before moving forward. Thank you for your time.
Kaylee Ball.
I'm Kaylee Paul. I live in Kingfisher County. Due to ongoing harassment, I am not sharing my address on the public record, but I'd like to address the mayor and the council tonight, kind of continuing on some of the concerns that have already been raised. Some of the additional questions about capacity, authority, and process that go directly to the city's ability to move forward responsibly are what I'm here to address tonight. First question that I have is, what's the total intended footprint of these developments, including the future expansion beyond what is currently disclosed? In public records that we've received, we have noticed that end users have been mentioned, and at this point, none of those end users have been discussed publicly, and I think that that's something that is important to have on the record. Second, how can the city uphold its existing water tap moratorium if the land can be incrementally annexed in a way that effectively expands service areas as projects grow? We also know that one facility is projected to require approximately 75 to 100,000 gallons of water per day. If both facilities are fully built out, according to not only the claims of the city, but both developers, that could ultimately end up approaching a combined demand of nearly 200,000 gallons per day. Has the city fully evaluated what that means long-term for the water capacity? Do these figures represent peak demands or overall water use required by the end user? There are also a few other process concerns that need clarity. Why are landowner petitions being used in a way that may effectively bypass more stringent annexation requirements under state law? How do we ensure proper notification to surrounding landowners as required by state statute if the city boundaries themselves have not been fully verified? Do we currently have the legal authority to approve annexation, rezoning, or related actions if there are unresolved questions about the validity of city limits and ward boundaries? How can the city lawfully annex land, rezone property, or approve tools like a PUD, future land use map change, amending the city comp plan, or TIF districts if those actions depend on boundaries that may not fully be confirmed? These are not abstract concerns. They go directly to due process, notice, and lawful authority. Past inconsistencies in records have already been placed, and the representation of Ward 5 has been questioned at the time when residents may be facing some of the most significant impacts to their homes, their businesses, and their community. For those reasons, it would be difficult for me to see how justifying proceeding with the following rezoning for large-scale industrial use, annexation of additional land into city limits, changes to the comp plan, or the future land use map are justifiable until the city completes a thorough review supported by appropriate expertise to clearly certify municipal boundaries and confirm the impact in all wards. We respectfully.
Kayla, your time's up.
Okay.
Amber Ramsey.
Amber Ramsey, 2838 Cheyenne Way. I want to respectfully address the council and the mayor. Councilman Heisey has raised serious concerns that there may be a fundamental issue with the city's current corporate boundaries. If accurate, this could affect the validity of the ward boundaries redrawn in 2023 and raise important questions about representation, particularly in Ward 5. There are several major proposals coming before the council in the near term. Beltline's proposal PUD for approximately 321.32 acre hyperscale data center, Cloverleaf's proposed PUD for approximately 633 acres, titled the Piedmont Technology and Energy Campus for an AI data center and energy generation facility, proposed annexation of additional land into the city limits, proposed changes to the future land use map that could shift the industrial designations affecting Ward 5. Together, the two data center projects alone total nearly 1,000 acres of disclosed development, roughly 750 football fields, or approximately 10 Disneyland parks. Early communication from Beltline also indicated an intent to pursue additional annexation. In addition, land record searches show potential acquisition activity tied to Cloverleaf's LLC dating back to July of 2025, including options for approximately 300 additional acres just across the Kingfisher County line, which I share with council members. This raises a fundamental question. Are we expanding city limits to accommodate a hyperscale data center footprint that is still growing in scope? Is it going to get bigger? Do we know how big it's going to be, and who is it going to impact around us? Councilman Heisey's motion tonight also raises concerns that city boundaries may be uncertain due to prior annexations or de-annexations that may not have been fully documented or properly reviewed. If that is the case, it creates uncertainty around ward structure and compliance with Section 6.3B of the city charter, which requires wards to be compact, contiguous, and substantially equal in population. At this time, it is not clear whether Ward 5 meets those requirements. With that in mind, I ask, is the proposed annexation by Cloverleaf intended to partly address the contiguity issues while also enabling future expansion for the project footprint? Do city communications suggest early coordination or predetermination with project representatives? And if so, to what extent was the city involved in shaping this regulatory path? If so, then how can we ensure that the PUD we put in place, or the PUD or the ordinance 2026-003 you put in place for protection actually makes these PUDs meet that standard? That's what I'm asking you tonight, is to ensure that that is met. And then follow up from the rest of Kaylee's discussion. Until this can be rectified, until we can figure out the proper ward boundaries, I also would like to ask you to move the next meeting for planning and zoning. I don't think we can make those kind of decisions when we don't even know what's going on. I think I appreciate Mr. Heisey's motion. I appreciate his due diligence, and I just wanted to tell y'all thank you.
Yolanda Hickman.
My name is Yolanda Heckman. I'm with the Kingfisher County Assessor's Office, 101 South Main Street, Kingfisher. I'd like to thank Councilman Heisey for bringing the issue of the Piedmont corporate limits up to this meeting. I had asked to be put on the agenda to speak or be called upon, but I don't think we were able to make it happen for this meeting. I just want to let everybody know, council members and the public, that I do have maps available for school districts, fire districts, ward limits, and more. So any information would ideally be verified by city officials and businesses coming into Piedmont before making promises that they may not be able to keep. To be very clear, the information that we have today shows that the proposed Beltline Data Center is not within Piedmont School District or their fire district. It is split between Okarche School District and Fire District and Cashin Fire District and School District. So it lies within city limits but is an island and is not contiguous with the rest of the corporate boundary. Parcel 1 of the proposed Cloverleaf Data Center, which is its largest portion, is within the Cashin Fire District. And I hope that any decisions that the council is looking to make is in conjunction with these fire departments and these school districts. And also with the assessor's office, we can help. Kingfisher County Emergency Management should be looped in as well. Whenever we're talking about the fire districts protecting, Beltline is proposed at 2.2 million square feet of buildings. How does this affect our ability to, contain a fire if something were to happen? How will they have that training? These are important things that I hope that the council has taken into consideration with Kingfisher County. At this point in time, the data centers can still qualify for a 5-year tax exemption. It is still paid out of our income taxes. Senate Bill 609 that was passed in 2021 states that the exemption can be extended for up to 25 years if certain criteria is met. Personal property, such as computers and servers, are what can no longer qualify for that exemption. 80 to 90% of the cost of a data center is personal property, like computers and servers. But that has a depreciation schedule of 5 years, which means that as far as taxation is concerned, it loses 80% of its value at the end of that 5 years. So, and unless the data company is reinvesting and purchasing new equipment, we lose that taxation value. The assessor's office can also help navigate any pilot negotiations if that has been brought up to you at all. That's payments in lieu of taxation. These plans are a way for corporations to not pay property taxes and can offer larger tax breaks than a typical 5-year tax exemption would. If it's structured appropriately, they can benefit multiple school districts in the city as well. In Kingfisher County, our largest taxpayer has $600 million in real estate and personal property assets and pays about $6 million a year in property taxes. If a business is offering an initial annual tax of less than 1% of the total projected assets in payments in lieu of taxation, it really should be scrutinized. I mean, definitely. A company with $1 billion in real and personal property would pay an estimated $10 million a year in ad valorem taxes.
Your time is up.
Thank you.
Hey, are you here? Yolanda, are you here on behalf of the assessor's office? Are you here? Okay. Leslie Stanball.
Thank you for this. I have a question, a lot of questions actually, but we don't have a lot of time. Anyway, one of the questions that was
Ms.
on our
Stanball,
Facebook.
your address, please.
Oh, Frisco Road's all you need to know. Someone said, I wish people understood that the council can't just deny the PUD application because the public doesn't want it. There are surely logical reasons to deny the application. I trust the city leadership will find them. That's a good question. How do we know? What are those answers? What makes you deny it or not deny it? The other thing is, if you see all these people here, we keep coming to these meetings and there's more of us. We don't want this. We do not want a data center. I know that I was at the Cloverleaf open house, or whatever you want to call it, and they're selling a good story, but my gut is telling me we don't know the whole story. And I don't want to find out the hard way, the way that we cannot reverse. Also, in our dialogue, we ask you questions. How do we get the answers? At the next meeting?
You can call your council members.
Are you kidding me?
No, I'm not kidding you.
Okay, I'll be calling.
Listen, it's her time. Here you go.
Also, have the 2 data centers been approved?
Oh.
They have not been approved. Okay. Do all of you live here in Piedmont?
Do you?
Well, I live on Frisco Road. It's
didn't ask you
supposed to
that.
be Oklahoma City, but I'm right across the street from Northwood Lake. So,
We have to live inside city limits to be on the council. Yes,
okay,
ma'am.
that's good. I know that there are some congressmen who say they represent one state, but they live in another, so I wasn't sure. I know that Congresswoman Stephanie Bice did help with the water infrastructure lately, and I'm thinking, well, that's perfect timing. Also, when these, the technology comes fast, and when the technology is old, what do we do? How do we decommission this building and the land that it's on? What happens then? Do we know? Do we know? Do I need to call somebody? I'm going to ask one more question. And this is a delicate question, and probably a lot of people wouldn't ask, but I need to know. The last time I was here, you swore someone in and they said that they could accept gifts that were reasonable. Are you all being gifted? Will you be gifted for this?
Your time is up.
Do I need to call back on that?
Your time is up.
That-
Hey,
that's
no, hey,
enough of that.
listen, Byron, no, can't.
We want to know because we don't want
There have been
this.
so many denials, it's ridiculous.
We don't know that.
Listen,
What do you want to do? Audit my finances?
Mr. Mayor.
Byron, it's enough.
I've had it with that crap.
Thank you. We are serious. We want to know what's
I'm
going on.
serious too.
Okay.
Chelsea Bingham.
Chelsea Bingham, 919 Fillmore Avenue Northwest, Piedmont, Ward 5. I would like to remind the council members and the mayor that you are not elected to simply approve development. You are elected to protect this city, its resources, its people, and its future. And that is exactly what is at stake with these proposals and with the proposed annexation and rezoning. These data center projects are asking the city of Piedmont and its residents to trade away its water, power, land, and finite local resources for the benefit of an industry that will give us very little in return. Piedmont already purchases water from Oklahoma City. These data centers will demand hundreds of thousands of gallons of water. We cannot even support the town as it is without purchasing from Oklahoma City. How are we supposed to support 2 large data centers? We do not have the infrastructure. And quite frankly, we are consistently in a drought. These data centers will deplete our groundwater for our farmers and ranchers. And even though the USDA Farm Service Agency consistently provides drought programs for farmers and ranchers, those programs are not enough. Our farmers and ranchers continue to struggle. One data center would use roughly 10 times the amount of water already required for the city of Piedmont. Data centers also consume enormous amounts of electricity, strain our infrastructure that is already fragile, and in return produce minimal permanent jobs and limited long-term investment. Our community is built on agriculture, and our economy depends on farmers, ranchers, and the small businesses that support them. These industries are not just temporary. These industries are generational. They rely heavily on access to water, and every gallon taken away to use to cool a data center is a gallon that cannot sustain livestock or crops. We must prioritize local producers and local business owners who sustain our economy. We must set a precedent of prioritizing, I apologize, our local ag industry and none of these outside entities. The proposed annexation and rezoning should be voted down. That is the first step to ensure that we maintain our local identity, our local economy, and our way of life. If you allow the annexation and rezoning, we will be invaded by these data centers that do not support our calm way of life. You will effectively force the residents of Piedmont to subsidize our own displacement through higher water and electric bills, increased property taxes, and decreased quality of life. That is not development. That is lack of stewardship. We are not opposed to progress. We're not opposed to development.
Council, we're at our 20-minute mark. I have two left. Do we want to continue on?
Just two?
Yeah, just two.
I move that we allow the next two to speak.
Second. Rob?
Aye.
Jonathan?
Aye.
Matt?
Aye.
Ron?
Aye.
Byron?
Aye.
Michelle Martin?
Hello, Mayor, Councilman. Thank you for your service to Piedmont. I know the pay doesn't come close to matching what we ask of you. And I want to trust that this council is acting in our community's best long-term interest on the proposed annexation and data center. We need all the facts. I'm pretty sure we can all agree to that, and that statement alone, such an important one. Piedmont is not positioned to absorb a hyperscale facility, if that's the one that we're looking at. Worst problem. The terrain is flat and open, which means tonal noise, the low frequency hum these facilities produce 24 hours a day will carry for miles, affecting children, elderly residents, and anyone with, sorry, I'm getting all super excited here. Ugh, I hate this. Will carry for miles, affecting children, elderly residents, and anyone with existing health conditions. We already have water pressure and sewer capacity problems. Adding a facility that consumes millions of gallons per day and discharges cooling tower blowdown, carrying biocides and anti-corrosives, our wastewater plant cannot filter. It's not a problem that we can engineer our way out of after the fact. Oklahoma City passed a moratorium in April. Luther's board has taken up the same question with residents, specifically citing Oklahoma City's pause as the residential model. Piedmont saying yes while neighboring communities are saying wait and study this puts us in the worst possible position. First in line for impacts, but last in line for lessons. I'm asking the council to reject the annexation, whatever that word is, I can't even say it right now, and we should not be giving any incentives for property tax. That might deter as well. When companies cannot answer questions of what long-term health or environmental effects their companies will pose on Piedmont, there should be a pause for concern. Health and environment are two of the most important considerations you could have. It not only holds our future in your hands, it holds the future of generations to come. So your decision to bring or not bring a data center, especially a hyperscale data center to Piedmont, will be one of great magnitude. Because I personally would not trade what we have now for what's never to end with data centers, You could always use data center. Anytime any of us complain about the four ways, be like, data center, we will shut up, I promise. So thank you for your time.
Thank you. Mr. Turner.
My name is Marvin Turner. I live in High Point. I have a question for you, Mayor. Once the zoning board says yay or nay, you have final authority over that? Is that true?
I'll answer that right now. The council has final authority.
I thought you could say whether it went to the council or not.
I'm just
Okay.
I'm just the conductor of the meeting.
Okay, well, last meeting I was at, you looked me in the eye, so did the city manager, and told me the city would not get any money from this data center. Then I went to the deal at the Piedmont High School, and they're talking about giving the city millions of dollars. Who was telling the truth?
I'd have to look back at the record on that, sir.
So are we not getting any money from they said they would fix our roads, fix the schools. You know, it would be a whole new community from all the money they're gonna give the city. So you have no comment on that?
I can't comment right now, but I will talk to you after the meeting about it, yes.
Well, can we wait till July 1st before we do anything? Because the state of Oklahoma passed some laws to help where our electric bill wouldn't be impacted and our water bills. And it was approved by the governor on May 11th. And are you trying to rush this thing through before the new state law on data centers would take effect?
I will tell you that there is nothing on the agenda tonight for a data center.
Okay, there's nothing on it.
No, sir.
If it became on the agenda,
We will deal with it.
is it possible for us to vote on it as citizens of Piedmont? This is an election year. Could we just add the zoning and the data centers?
You know, I'm going to go out here and I'm just going to tell this to the public because I've been asked this multiple times. Why don't you guys get to vote on a development? And I'm going to tell each and every one of you, you're going to be mad at me, but this is the facts. You voted these guys in to do that for you.
Right.
And before you say they're not, it is by law that we look at the whole picture and all of the hearings and all the evidence before we make an action.
No, I didn't say
And
you
that has
weren't.
not come to us yet. That's why we get frustrated because we're sitting here getting nailed left and right by something that we haven't done.
Well, we get frustrated
I
too.
understand. Like, we're
I
on
mean,
that
I
page
come to the
too.
meetings and you go, we can't talk about that. We can't answer
Because it's
any
not on our agenda, sir. When it comes on our agenda, then we can talk about it.
Okay,
That's the state law. It has not been on our agenda.
right.
And so that's what we keep telling you guys is that we will have these discussions. We will hear. My deal is I don't want to shut you guys down because we want you to talk to us because we take these notes, we take them, we try to find stuff for them. So when it does come on our agenda, we're more prepared for it.
Well, can we plan on waiting till after July 1st before we make any decisions?
I can't make that. It's the applicant's deal. They submit an application, it goes through the process.
Right.
Say that it's not about a data center tonight when the annexation that is being discussed was specifically requested by the data center developers themselves.
There is nothing on our agenda tonight.
Discussions of annexation were also
There is nothing, no.
record that Heisey and Burkeville.
I'm telling you, it's misinformation. It is not on our agenda tonight for the annexation. All right.
Sir, I'm so sorry to interrupt you. Ms. Kat Owens put in a form and she would really like to speak, but she got missed.
I did not get that form.
I'm so sorry to interrupt you.
I put it on the Jennifer Smith.
You have a form? Come on up. Will you fill out another form for me when you get time? And just leave it with us. Thank you so much.
I put it over there with her stuff.
Yeah,
That's where I was
and I'm-
told to put it anyway.
And it could be stuck in here. So go right ahead, ma'am.
Hello, my name's Catherine Owen. I live at 9281 Richland Road Northwest. My property is directly in between the two proposed data centers. Good evening, Mayor Mayab, Councilman, and City of Piedmont. Most know me in the community as Kat Owen. My husband Matt and I grew up in Guthrie. After getting married and moving to far western Oklahoma to raise our children in small town rural America, life happened and we needed to move closer to Guthrie in 2011. We purchased our current home in 2012. I need you to know why. We have horses. I needed a little land, but more importantly, we wanted to raise our family in rural Oklahoma. A place where we knew our neighbors, a place where we could sit on our front porch with a great cup of coffee and watch the sunrise, our back patio with some sweet tea and watch the sunset. Believe it or not, we can still see the stars at night.
We may not have the most beautiful or biggest home, but we love where we live. We have quiet evenings and peaceful mornings. We don't bother anyone, and we don't want anyone to bother us. We don't get our roads graded, but maybe once a year, if we're lucky. Our trash gets picked up whenever the company feels like it. We don't complain, we just adjust. Our city water pressure is terrible, but it is what it is. Most of our neighbors are on wells and septic systems with propane, and we joke that we're the forgotten. I truly believe now that that is why the city seems to be okay with these centers building in my front and backyard. None of the people pushing this agenda live near me. None of you will have your children play outside, ride bikes, or have cookouts across the street from these mega centers. None of you will have the breath to breathe the toxins that they put off, deal with both high pitch and low pitch noise, be frustrated with the constant lighting, and have your whole way of life and quality of life affected. We will be the ones dealing with that. Contrary to some beliefs, we are not just dumb farmers out here. We care about our families, our way of life, our quality of life, and the community where we raised our family. We are not naive. We know that technology is an ever-changing field. We know that Piedmont is a growing community. However, this isn't the way for the quick fix that some may think or hope. I implore you to not approve the rezoning and annexation of the proposed property today. Please do your due diligence and have studies conducted for water, light pollution, ground pollution, noise pollution, aquifer studies, and many other necessary inquiries to keep our community, the families in it and near it, as safe as possible.
Your time's up, dear.
There is too many unknowns.
Before I move on to the next item, I did find your deal. It was stuck with another one. Has anybody else filled out a form that I'm missing that wanted to speak? Okay, sorry about that, Catherine. All right, scheduled business. Item A, discussion, consideration, and possible action on modifying the posted speed limit on North Piedmont Road. Chief, Police, you here? Are you filling in for him today?
Hopefully I have good news. Get a clap at the end. So we were asked to do, or look at the speed limits as that pertains to Piedmont Road in between Edmond and Azalea Road. Currently it is 45 miles an hour for the max speed limit is 35 on the south end of that near Windmill Park. Part of our bulk of like what we did is using one of our signs that we obtained through a grant, the traffic sign. What it does, it reads, it's essentially like one of our radars for cars that are speeding. And it's pretty neat in the sense that it tells you how many cars go by within a certain time frame that we put into the software. It tells us how fast that car was going, what time, day, and all that kind of good stuff. The section that we did, or I'm sorry, the time limit was about 12, I believe it was 12 days. It had, sorry, I'm getting old, I need glasses on. I'm gonna need a lot longer than 3 minutes. Trying to get the total amount of cars for you. However, like during the day, it would range, and this is kind of impressive because I didn't think there was that many cars, but it's anywhere from like 20 to 26,000 vehicles completed during the survey period.
Is that for the whole 12 days or is that one day?
sorry here, I misread it. It's 46,000, a little over 46,000 for, and that was for the total vehicles recorded for the time period for the 12 days. Yeah,
Okay,
sorry.
46. No, you're good.
Apologize.
Yeah.
So there were some that were trying to test the limits of the sign, of course. We understand that the sign is there for a reason, to let people know how fast they're going. Also, people tend, of course, to slow down a little bit when they see patrol vehicles. So during the time that we were looking at this, we modified our patrol slightly. And then we also were keeping in mind that the sign was there and notifying people, so they're going to slow down a little bit. Something that most people look at is the 85th percentile, and what it comes out to be is about 53 to 54 miles an hour was what the 85th percentile was showing us. So with that, that aligns up pretty close to what it was. I don't know, most here have been here for a little bit, and they know that it was 55 before when the road was pretty poor condition. It wasn't marked. It was more narrow. Didn't have the fog lines, wasn't marked in the center for the entire stretch of road for the most part. Of course, it was done in sections, but we had, at the time, we had 35 miles an hour from Edmond Road to just north of Windmill Park, which is about the 2300 block. And then it turned to 45, and it was 45 to about Arrowhead Road or just north of Arrowhead Road. And then it turned to 55 there to Azalea. So taking all into account that the sign, of course, slows people down slightly, and it's going to skew the numbers a bit. Us being in the area also skews those numbers. But with the 85th percentile and the results that we had and the bulk of the total number of vehicles, and also we also took in to account the addition of I believe it was 9 driveways that were added in that period of time, and I was being approximate. So something that's concerning in a 55-mile-an-hour zone is making sure that people have adequate time, of course, to pull out of the driveways, not have to worry about getting hit by somebody. And there's only a few houses up on 75 to 7700 block, I believe, that those newer houses just to the east side of the Dollar Pond is the only houses that were kind of concerning with the hill that's right there. But looking at the measurements and the sight line, there's no bushes or no obstructions. Majority of that vehicle or the roadway is all flat for the most part, except for a little bit of the northern section. But anyway, I get long-winded. The police department looked at it with all the data that we had and what we discovered. It was probably prudent, or that we would recommend pretty much a return to the 55-mile-an-hour upper limit in that section.
Okay. You have any questions, Rob?
Just a comment, really. First of all, great job on restoring that road. It's smooth, it's nice, it's striped. You can go all the way up to the end, turn left, go to a Carch, eat some chicken. I like that. I do have a concern about the big heavies. Do we want the big heavies driving 55 miles an hour down that road? I don't think we do. Cars and trucks, absolutely. But I think when you're talking about semi-trucks, I think you might be pushing a little bit, because let's face it, if it's 55, people are going to go 60, 62. I mean, that's just human nature. Yeah, grab a ticket, I know. I would just like that to be considered.
My question to that is, can you do that on just a single lane road like that?
I don't know.
So we have, I was happy to see that we actually had passing zones instead of a no passing the whole way, because there's plenty of flat areas in there where, thank you. I'm sure they, thank you also. Like where it's safe to do so, it's nice to go around somebody like a tractor, farm up them in or something like that that's going 20 miles an hour. The trucks, we looked at like the data for the trucks that we had. Of course, we have more trucks now for like all of our, you got all your oil sites for the water trucks and all that. There are some that are up on the Azalea, on the south side of the road up there, pretty much in between Piedmont and Frisco, I believe. But we do have some that utilize that road. We also have goofballs that are going up the wrong road. You know, they're going up a weird road with a big truck that they shouldn't be going down. But I'm sure they take their GPS and that just kind of tells them where to go. But we took that data and we also looked at the accidents. I think for the time period, I went back 5 years, and we had a total of 10 accidents. None of them involved a semi. The majority of them were operator error. We had like 2 that were failed to stop the stop sign, and they thought that the cross traffic did not stop. We had one that was just a motorcycle that just is driver error, again, inexperienced. Then I think we had yeah, sorry, 6 of them that were just inintended driving. So of those, we haven't had, to my knowledge, any accidents involving semi trucks in that area.
Did the data break out the size of trucks or the vehicles, like passenger vehicle versus heavy, multi-axle?
I'm sorry, I didn't.
What was there a different? I didn't notice in here you were talking about that the size of the vehicle could be determined with that radar. Is
Not with the radar.
Oh, okay.
No, all it does is it counts the vehicles.
That's what I thought. Yeah,
Counts the
I'm
vehicles.
familiar with different ways of counting vehicles.
I was thinking the same thing. Does it show us what the semis were?
Yeah,
versus-
yeah. How many semis versus? Yeah, I know. When I was at the county, we had the pucks that digital pucks that we'd put on the ground, and it would tell us if it was a large vehicle or.
We would need
or a passenger
more
car.
data centers for that.
Yeah, no, that was
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Oh, God.
I know there's a fair amount of trucks that go up there.
And Jack's done talking.
Teach chief to leave town.
I think I heard turn your badge in. Is that what I heard?
Yeah.
Chief.
No, there was a concern with those signs initially also. We don't like, we don't, at least me and Chief, that don't like the idea of like cameras that capture speed and all that stuff and like give you a ticket. The signs, all they do, they're not connected to anything other than the computers for the radar. And it just tells you which car, how fast it's going, which direction it's going, and what time it is.
Yep.
And then they spit out a bunch of cool pie graphs and stuff.
Yep. That's really neat. Good data.
Just to clarify, so the 85th percentile is the speed that the average most people are already going, even though it's a 45 zone.
Yes, sir.
So most people are already going 55, so we're just going to raise it so we can write less tickets. Is that kind of
the
gist of what I'm
would be-
understanding?
So that would be great. We don't have to get out of the car. We still get
Okay,
paid.
that's what I'm worried about.
No, we just think it's prudent for the area, just for people to get point A to point B. It's a long stretch of roadway with no stop signs. Like I said, it's primarily flat, level ground, up until about Ash, where it starts getting a little hilly. Just that area seems, from our data, the crashes don't seem excessive to us. They don't seem like it's anything that has anything to do with the roadway, especially now that it's widened, it's marked, and it's straight, smooth, and it doesn't look like there's any kind of speed bumps on the way to keep it like at 45 miles an hour.
Okay, so the driveways that you had some concern with, are those farther north, or are those like, so you said we had 35 to just north of Windmill and then 45 to a point. If we shift where it goes, the transition between 45 to 55 farther north, would that clear up some of that concern with people getting out of their driveways?
It wouldn't so the 75 to 77, 7800 block, that area is just south of Moffett.
Oh,
Moffett
gotcha.
Road.
Never mind.
So it's quite a ways up.
Okay.
That section of 35, 45 is all towards the south end of the mile section that
Okay.
I'm referring to.
That's what I need. Thank you.
We can always throw up a sign or something like that, like, a cautionary sign or something like that, I would think. If needed.
Yeah, so one of the things we discussed as part of the study was as we approach intersections, just put in caution, yellow signs, the 45 are recommended, right? Going through the intersection, they're not a must. So that would be something that we could add into the signage along Piedmont Road there, just to remind folks like, hey, you're coming through an intersection, especially if you're not from here. Just as a caution, we can do that.
That's what's also nice about the signs is they're not really made to be like mobile to where you can just throw them on. There's some that are made to be on trailers. These are not really mobile, but I found out with a little help from our friends at the Public Works Department, we can move them fairly easy. And we just have to reset the data And it can help us and help the city as far as counts go or speed, like if you're worried about, speed in certain areas and stuff like that.
Just for curiosity, just for kind of my concern, what's the fastest speed that went through there?
I'm not giving anybody prizes.
No, I mean, my whole question on this is if it's already posted at 45 and they're doing 9 faster.
So
If we put it to 55, are they going to be doing 60, 65?
So the max speed that I have listed here, keep in mind that sometimes those radars can batch or they match each other. So it just has that little glitch, and it depends on like the way the vehicles are, how fast they're going, and their angle and all that kind of good stuff. But the fastest that we registered was 119.
I mean, and I only asked that so everybody understands what's
It was a
coming out
police
here.
car with his lights on, right?
It probably could have been.
Hopefully not. They shouldn't
Could've
probably
been,
be.
right? He's like, no, we don't do that.
Okay.
No, it's just more for safety for everybody that travels that road. Like, there are people out there that don't pay attention.
Yep. I know, I live on it.
Yeah, and concern when you pull out of your driveways, we are looking at upping the speed there. So take a little extra caution before you jump out there. This stuff bothers me because if there is a wreck, we raise the speed. I don't sleep at night. I take this stuff personal. I want it to be right, but
Being the number of years that I've had out here, the more serious wrecks that we've had was either we had a DUI that went left of center, and that was
it's
whatever
gonna
the road
happen
was.
whether
Yeah.
the speed, yeah, whatever.
And then we had a fatality at Apache and Piedmont Road back in 23, I believe it was. That was again a drunk that ran the stop sign, and he was going close to triple digits. So, and that's what made it so bad.
So why don't we just come up with this town that has, if you're drunk, you do 25?
Yeah.
And then you guys would know who it was.
That would be great.
No, just kidding.
We
Don't
can
you
make
worry.
it where we just give them a ride home. We don't have to-
Right.
It's like
No,
they abide by it.
you
That'd be
know,
great.
it's, like I said, I just want this to be right. I don't disagree with raising it. My opinion on it is from Edmond Road to past the church, probably, I would say 35. And then bump it up to 45 and then 55 past 192nd sometimes. But
I think where it was
kind
prior,
of go back to where it was.
it's pretty close. Like I looked at it, and even back in the day, I thought that the 35 was a little close to the Windmill Park
Yeah.
entrance and exit. And what I was counting on was possibly, and that'd be up to you guys, but move it just to the north of the Windmill Park is probably where I would suggest it, at least to
I mean,
give them a
we
little
do
bit
have-
more time to slow down. Because people they come up to the signs and then they may start slowing down. And by that time, they're still going 45 when they pass.
We do
Windmill
have
Park.
Chaparral, that neighborhood that's gonna be developed one of these days. It's just north of that. Like, we gotta think about that stuff.
They're talking about on the east side, north of the Arrowhead.
Yeah, no,
No, it's not north.
it's right across the street from the church. East side of the road.
It hasn't started yet.
They started the dirt work, but the roads, but
I haven't seen it because I've been stuck in my office. So
Yeah,
I
you're
didn't see
fine.
your work on it.
yeah.
Must be a new one.
I
But we
think
can
that-
always adjust it. That's in the slow area.
Yeah.
So I would think that we could throw the sign up if we need to move it in the future, if that happens, and make adjustments to it.
Okay. Any other questions? Thank you, Jack, for filling in. Appreciate you, man. You guys want to make a motion? Somebody?
Yeah, move we approve item A.
I'll second.
Byron?
Aye.
Matt?
Aye.
Rob?
No.
Jonathan?
Aye.
And Ron?
Aye.
Item B, discussion, consideration, and possible action on determining the correct corporate limits of the city of Piedmont. Mr. Heisey.
Yeah. First off, there's nothing on this, nothing on 8B and about annexation. It's clear to me after reviewing some of the ordinances for detachment that were passed back in the 80s that the maps of the corporate boundaries of Piedmont aren't correct. And I first noticed this back in, I think, April. Brought it up to the city manager. They've been working on it. It was also brought to my attention that The city charter says that the ward boundaries have to be contiguous. Well, the current city limits don't make that possible. So my understanding is that city staff has been gathering all the information about all the ordinances that have been passed throughout the years, attaching and detaching property in the city limits. They have all that information gathered. The city engineer has people on staff that can interpret the legal, going blank here, boundaries, right? They can look at the legal descriptions. They can correct the map for us, give us a correct map. We can take that information and give it to everybody who needs to know it. The county clerks, the tax commission, the GIS department down at OU, whoever else needs that information. And then we need a legal, we need legal advice about what to do about not being in compliance with the city charter. Those are the two things that need to be done. So
I agree 100%. It's been a question for a long time, even the whole just one common corner, for that whole, eight, nine sections of land that's up there.
I mean, my plan is to make a motion to have to direct staff to do that, bring that back to us with the corrected map, and then ask for a legal opinion from our city attorney about what to do to be compliant with the city charter. That's all I wanted. Excuse me. That's all I want to do.
You making that motion?
Hey, have they already looked into this by chance?
Who? Not completely.
City
Not all of
staff?
it.
Okay, I didn't know if they had an update.
So it's an ongoing project that we have. We need, there's some legal descriptions that are really detailed that we need some other experts to look into for us. SRB has that capability. And so next steps for this project is to turn that over to them, have them interpret it, and then be able to put that. They have CAD drawing or maps that they can put it into, so they can pinpoint it into their systems to give us a map. And then from that, we'll go back to another review process. And then
I think one of the important parts of this is the legality, of all that land as well.
Sure, once we get the
And
map.
being continuous, and if it's not, then what do we do about it?
Correct.
I have a question. When was the city charter passed?
When was the last charter election?
Charter election revision.
20.
The original.
No, the original charter.
Oh.
This hasn't always been a charter city. When was it
1984.
So roughly the time of some of this de-annexation?
But the charter's been updated since then.
Okay, I
So the-
understand that. I'm asking though about the original charter. It's been updated with certain language and all. I don't know if this particular thing was updated. I'm just talking about where I just want to make sure when we get all the information that we're not trying to shoehorn language and intent where it wasn't.
Yeah.
Sure.
Basically, you're saying, well, if that charter provision was added after the boundaries were already all over the place like a jigsaw puzzle.
Yeah,
then
it is what it is.
It doesn't really apply because it
Right.
was already like that.
Right.
That could be, I see
Yeah,
what you're saying.
and that's what we need to know too.
Yeah. And we just need somebody to do the research and to give us a legal opinion on that.
Right. Are we taking testimony?
We have our people to do that.
So I guess, so my motion is I direct city staff to continue with the research, have the city engineers, staff review that, give us a correct map, and then I also ask that the city attorney give us a legal opinion on compliance with the city charter's requirements for wards to be contiguous.
Second.
Matt.
Aye.
Jonathan.
Aye.
Ron.
Aye.
Rob.
Aye.
Byron.
Aye.
Do we have a time frame on how long that's going to take and when that might come in front of the council again?
Staff wrapped up their review of it, today, and then I'll have to get with SRB to see what their manpower looks like. I'll have to send you all an update on when I can hear back from them. I don't want to commit them to anything that I'm not sure of, so.
Thank you.
But we're diligently working it.
Without objection, I'd like to hold item C and go to the PMA.
Objection.
Page 216. Without objection, I'd like to use the council attendance for the PMA. Item 3, consent agenda. Rob, do you want to pull anything?
No.
Jonathan?
No.
Matt?
No.
Ron?
Nope.
And Byron?
No, sir.
Can I get a motion?
Move to
Move.
approve items A, B, and C in the consent agenda?
Second.
Matt?
Aye.
Ron?
Aye.
Byron?
Aye.
Jonathan?
Aye.
Rob?
Aye.
We went through all the citizen comments in the council agenda. Item 6A, presentation and discussion regarding the OWRB projects and schedule. He was hiding in the back. Yeah, hey, will you start that 3-minute timer for us? Get the moving on.
I'm standing between you and a Thunder game.
Absolutely. You got the right hat on
We
tonight.
can put it on the screen.
Josh. Oh,
He needs profession.
Jack. Shouldn't have touched it.
I don't know what that thing is.
Man, that's number 2.
Information's in them.
I'll make it number 3.
Very
Yep,
good.
we're getting there.
Okay, I'm Robert Mullins with SRB and managing, I think, 4 or 5 of your projects. I did not do that. There we go. So here's the projects we've got. It's the same list we've had for quite some time. Everything's going on the way it should be, and then we'll go over budgets and schedules. Here's the overview, just the map we've shown you every month since we started. Here's the water projects. First is the water distribution. You approved the inserter valves last meeting. That we've had the kickoff meeting. Those will be ordered. It was what, a week and a half ago, and they said at the time 4 to 6 weeks to do the training. The 1 million gallon tank, we did receive DEQ construction permit. We're finalizing the construction documents. We do have electrical in. We were out there this morning meeting with OG&E and getting some stuff taken care of for removing some power to that old pump station that's there. So we'll get it out of the way before this happens. When we do bid the 1 million gallon tank, we will bid it 2 separate projects. One, just the tower and stub it out 5 feet, and then the water lines to connect it. If we do it all together, they're gonna find a local guy and mark it up 20%, so. And then the water wells, basically, we're working on, getting it ready to go for the rehab of well 3. And, we've got it all ready to go. Pretty much, we were kind of talking to Water Resources Board. Our estimate for the cleaning and rehab part of it is 73,000. They still are gonna make us go out and get 3 quotes and treat it like it's competitive bidding. We don't necessarily have to do the 21 days, but there's no reason not to. And so we're gonna do a pre-qualification to make sure we get somebody that is trusted in our industry, make sure whoever's done it before and worked with our guys. So we will do a questionnaire. Our intent is to try to qualify people, but also is to make sure we get good bidders. And then this one, the secondary connection to Oklahoma City, it's submitted to DEQ. waiting for permit. I have not seen any comments yet. Water design services, that's just kind of ongoing, what we've been doing, trying to make sure everything works. And then the sanitary sewer evaluation, they've done just about everything they can. They're waiting on getting the pump station pumps. It's pumping. Yeah. Yeah, so once we're able to move the water where we needed to, then they could go in and camera the rest of it. So I'll tell them that. And then here's our timeline. We're right in the middle where we basically should be. The 1 million-gallon tank is the next one on mark to go out to bids. And then one water well rehab, and then shortly after that would be the second well. And then as soon as we get a permit from DEQ, then I think we have to have that permit before we can get you the agreement with Oklahoma City how to share cost. So that'll be coming. And then there's the budgets. The one that is the highest is the one that is the sanitary sewer evaluation study. And it's just labor intensive, cameraing all the stuff. So that's why that one's, everything else is right where it should be. The elevated storage, we're probably a little, I guess, by the time we build, but basically we should be about 65 to 70% when we bid it. So we're in good shape on all these budgets. And then the construction budgets, again, it's the sanitary sewer evaluation study that's gobbling up the money, but very quickly we will start spending the rest of it. Questions?
So all of the timelines have increased by 4 months overall. So like
probably the tower has, the wells getting a rehab done, we're probably ahead of schedule. Getting the well drilled is probably right on schedule.
Okay.
The Oklahoma City line, that's a good question on that one.
So I've got the
Yeah, go ahead.
distribution improvement went up by a year, and then the secondary connection and the wastewater improvements both went up by 4 months. The intercept improvement went up by 2 months, and so like we keep pushing out the end date, and that's my major concern is we're pushing these dates out. The budget's not going up, so we're not spending money apparently. So I'm just trying to figure out what's going on, why we keep pushing all this timeline wise.
On the wastewater, it was to get all the cameraing and get the evaluation study done.
Yeah, we had to spend more money. We had to increase and approve, like an extra 25,000 feet, wasn't
so.
it? Yeah, there was, so that on that one, I know there was more line to do. And then then you got negotiations with landowners to buy the land, like for the water tower.
Yeah,
you know.
and I understand that, but we keep
Just-
creeping this up.
No, I mean,
And that's my main concern is
Yeah.
we went into this with the understanding it would be done in roughly 2 years, and now we just keep inching it up, and that concerns me, just like everybody else. Like we're all worried about water pressure and everything else, and so I wanted to address it.
Yeah, and there are some of these projects that have shifted, as you've noted. There are opportunities for us to make some of that up, either in the construction phase, DEQ. Some of those timelines are built out to 45 days. They've been taking less than 30. I know those are just days, not weeks or months. But there is some opportunity that we've been talking about in our monthly meetings where we think we can make up ground on some of those critical projects.
Okay, well, and if we can make up ground, I would love to make up ground. Thank you.
Hey, Robert, I have a couple questions. I think it was back in August last year, we approved about, I think it was around 18 meters with pressure sensors. Have those been installed yet?
Those are the ones we're
With
getting the
insert.
insert of valve
Okay.
stuff so we can put them in.
Okay.
So on the day we do training, we'll get 3 installed that
Okay.
day.
All right. So that's probably a couple months away before we get those.
Right.
Okay.
And we did buy residential meters that all had the pressure gauges to start as you replace meters, so we can
Right.
start getting a grid. And I don't know where we're at on that installation. It's just as you replace them.
Okay.
So there wasn't really a schedule. on
Can
that. We
those
just bought 100 of them.
can those pressure sensors be added to those existing meters? Is that a difficult task to do, or is it when you install the meter, it's got to be in
Yeah.
there?
I know for the new meters, it's a $50 add-on, and it's just changing out the head.
Yeah, so
Okay.
there's the head problem is on there. So I mean, we can talk to Badger
Okay,
to see
okay,
if that's
yeah.
available.
The other question I had was, I think last week there was quite a bit of activity at the lift station there on Washington Street, 164th.
Mhm.
There was a big vac truck and stuff. Was that the pump replacement that was going on there, or was?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, so both of those pumps in the West Lift Station have been replaced. They were turned on today. So we've got the flow now being re-diverted from the Oklahoma City Emergency Bypass Line back to
Okay.
the lagoons.
So no more paying Oklahoma City for send sewer to them.
Just the east side of
Okay.
Piedmont Road,
All right.
the standard
Sure.
users there. Yes, sir.
Other questions? Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thanks, Robert. Item B, discussion, consideration, and possible action to require the PMA manager to research and possibly enter into contract negotiations with a company to provide gravel to the roads in Piedmont on a timely demand basis. Byron.
Yeah, we've had problems. Once the rain comes back, there's gonna be a lot of people getting stuck. We have these problems all the time. We're never ahead of this. And the result is that we need a bunch of gravel brought in. Well, we've depended on the county to truck in gravel for us. And of course, they have their own priorities. And so we have to wait on their availability. Meantime, people continue to get stuck, people continue to slide off the road. And we need more timely gravel deliveries, period. And since we don't seem to ever have the money to surface some of these roads that are constant problems, I think we need to start taking some more aggressive action and get this figured out.
I thought we ordered a dump truck.
Yeah, where are we with the dump truck?
Yeah, so dump truck we should take delivery of that in July.
Yeah, and that's a good thing. But sometimes these problems require more than one dump truck. I mean, yeah, you might get it all done in a month. Month's too long. And we've had these kinds of problems in the past. Now, I think our residents where these things happen have been really patient, just exceedingly patient. And I think I've been really patient. Recent vote has tested my patience exceedingly. So we've got to take some more aggressive action on this particular issue. I think last year we spent something like $300,000, maybe more on gravel. But that's by necessity. And we just need to, the biggest issue isn't that we're not willing to get the gravel and spread it out. The issue is timeliness.
So would you want to advertise bids for delivery, like
Yeah.
like an on-call service?
Yeah, as an on-call basis.
Okay. Can we take advantage of a pre-negotiated price that the county has and then have somebody deliver gravel at that price? Is that
So,
possible?
yeah, we are able to take advantage of their pricing.
Okay.
It's more of the delivery
Okay.
that we could go out to competitively bid.
And I'm not as familiar with Oklahoma or with Canadian counties, unit price contract for rock delivery. Sometimes they have zones. Oklahoma County, as Craig knows, it's the same way. So they have zones that they'll deliver, and usually it's delivered by Brown or it's going to be some other transport company. Thing is when the city, Byron, and when the city calls up and says, I need 1,500 tons of rock to put 2 inches of rock on a mile of a road, that's going to cost us probably $35,000 more or less, maybe a little bit more. And two, we got to have a blade operator there, to be able to, blade it out and
They don't.
and
For the
get it
most
in the right
part, they
spot.
come out and they run that They run that gravel up. They don't, it's not bladed generally. At least it certainly isn't on an emergency basis.
Well, I mean, what I'm saying is when you order up 1,500 tons of rock on the road, it's coming in belly dumps because it's a little less expensive in a belly dump.
Oh, well,
That's gonna
that's a
be,
good point.
and it has to be bladed so that it's, laid out evenly across the entire 22-foot wide roadway more or
Well,
less, so.
Getting an even, layer of rock would be a novelty for us.
But anyway, to your point, I think it's city manager and the public works director and outlining those roads and getting the roads that have little to no, rock on them, getting them covered in rock and making sure we got the budget for it and everything, so.
Well, we're
We
just
have it-
gonna have to have the budget for it, period.
I mean, and what I'm
It's
saying
to
is,
that point.
what I'm saying is all of the tools, with the exception of time and money, everything that they need to do to be able to buy the rock and get it placed is there and in place. It's just a matter of doing it amongst everything else that also needs
Yeah,
to be done.
what this is saying is we gotta get it done.
But if we had somebody that we could call up and they would guarantee delivery, like we have under contract, they have to deliver in 48 hours or whatever the time period is in the contract.
Mhm.
Sounds like a good deal to me. Let's try and see what kind of prices we get. And
Well, I
if we
mean,
don't,
I
if we
think-
don't like it,
I think
then
that-
we don't have to accept the bid.
Well, true, but I think that contract's already in place with the county and I don't think you're gonna get a better price than what the county's getting.
Yeah, but who hauls it from the county to us?
No one, I mean, no one hauls it from the county. I mean, we have zones that are in Canadian County that are in Canadian County's bid price,
Mhm.
right? Right, Craig? Have you seen Canadian counties?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So who do we call up if we want to price?
There's many trucking companies that we could ask for pricing. We currently use a trucking company.
Okay.
That delivers it whenever we have large volumes that need to be delivered and they're very prompt.
Okay.
They've been very responsive to
Craig.
our calls. whenever we're-
Come on, microphone.
Mike.
Yeah, people can hear.
Commissioner Cardwell is correct on the way that the pricing is for hauling. The county not only has pricing for aggregate, which is set depending on the destination in which we get that, whether it's a Yukon stone yard or whether we go down to a quarry. And there's 2 or 3 quarries that are obviously within reach of a daily haul. In fact, you could get several loads in a day if you do that. But we have hauling companies that are willing to respond fairly quickly to bring that out. Commissioner Cardwell's right again, that's twice, Ron, so, okay. In that we can get that scheduled for the tonnage in order to do that. There's more in the process of than just blading the rock on, and I know that that's been mentioned, but there's quite a process as far as figuring out how many inches, where you need it. We evaluate that really daily, weekly. We recognize where the red comes through the aggregate and how many loads we have that. And when I have my motor grader out, we're able to place it in those locations. We also are in the need of a loader because you can't move rock with a blade. You can spread it with a motor grader, but you can't move it with a blade. So that's the process of having a dump truck and a loader so that whenever you have to take it from one place that may have heavy rock to another place, you can do that within our activities. So that's, the dump truck will add to that as well. We don't currently have a loader adequate to be able to load that and move it, but that's something that we're looking at.
We don't
And
have
we
a
definitely
backhoe.
look at those activities every
Will
week.
backhoe not do that?
So I guess I'm a little.
You got an inch, you got a
Hey,
yard.
which miles do you want done? That's my question.
Yeah.
Well, the biggest problem we have is Richland Road.
Richland Road, how many miles? I mean, my deal is I'm fixing to ask that dude to go find it in his budget because obviously we got the rock. We can get it at cost. We got the trucking company. What you're asking for, we already have. Just what miles do you want done?
Well, you say we already have it. The issue is always about the rains come and there's an emergency situation, what really amounts to emergency situation.
That's what
And
I'm
we're
saying.
not meeting
Okay.
the timeliness. That's the issue. And we always get caught unawares or unexpected. Now, I don't know, maybe we've really changed something. I'm not aware of it. I don't readily see it. But if we're properly anticipating things all of a sudden, maybe things have changed. But we've never really anticipated these situations before.
I'm just checking the boxes. I'm not upset about it. I'm just saying.
No, I understand.
Negotiations with the company to provide gravel. Boom, we got
the
that.
southern 2 miles of Richland Road are a constant problem because it's relatively heavily traveled. Not just by cars, not just by residents, but by the oil companies. There's some issue with Frisco, but I've had complaints over on Cemetery. I've had, and there are other places in town, I'm sure, that are problematical. You go east of Piedmont Road on Arrowhead. The last time it was really wet, there was a lot of rutting and problems over there.
Are you seeing a lot of requests through C-Click Fix to deliver the gravel out that way?
We get mostly, I mean, I'm not trying to make it overly complicated, but obviously we're in a drought.
Yeah.
Okay. And when you talk about aggregates segregate when they're dry. So, you know, have an application whenever we have when we have water, I try to take advantage of the day after a rain because then we can make sure that we blade that with proper consolidation of the rock. If I go out there and just blade aggregate, we end up with the coarse aggregate separating from the fine, and then we have the dusting conditions that we all see around here because we're in a drought condition. So whenever we do get the rains, we try to evaluate wherever the red spots are or where the rutting is, and then that will determine where we put the rock. And so there's processes that go with that. Your question was, am I seeing a whole lot of complaints? There's a whole lot of gravel roads in Piedmont's 42 square miles. So yes, we do get those concerns and we try to hit it with the single blade that we have, the motor grader that we have, and cover the areas where we get those complaints. The councilman mentioned Richland, mentioned Frisco. On the east side, I can tell you that it's Mustang Road, that it's 192nd Street. It's north of, it's on Morgan Road. So yeah, we understand where the trouble areas are and we try to blade that and in the steps that we have with the one motor grader that we have and the 65% aggregate roads that we have within Piedmont city limits. So the idea is to try to find those areas that the councilman and the citizens are concerned about and address those in the manner in which he's requesting.
Yeah,
So-
and again, my issue isn't that I understand why when it rains, you're caught. I mean, it's not ever going to be perfect if you're not surfaced. The issue is timeliness again and again. The issue is getting it out done as quickly as possible.
And I don't disagree at all what the councilman's saying. The amount of resources we have with the equipment that we have, as well as the operator and the laborers that we have, we try to address those. I wasn't aware of a road where anybody was getting stuck. So if that's the case, obviously that's a priority road.
Well, it's
that
been a
when
long
we hear
time
that-
since it rained. And
Well, I'm
and
just.
you haven't
yeah.
been on the job that long.
We had an inch and a half last week, and there were some areas that we recognized that needed some aggregate. We did haul in 4 loads in the area of 178th. I wish that we would recognize, and I understand that there's a lot of roads, but 178th's been a focus, and it should be because the amount of traffic during school of roads that are on that from Frisco to Cemetery. We have priority roads based off of, even though I don't have all the ADT information, we do have a general idea of where the most traveled roads are in the city. And so we try to address those obviously first and as soon as we can. But obviously I do recognize the concern on the gravel roads, so.
Which mile on Frisco?
there's 2 miles that were dug up years ago.
North of 164.
The biggest
Yeah,
problem
it's
there
3
is,
miles,
probably
5.
the washboarding, which is more of a grading issue. But,
I was looking
but-
for Mr. Mivas. Is Mr. Mivas?
but Richland especially has low spots. The drainage is the road in most places. And, consequently, it's a disaster every time it rains significantly.
The-
And,
the-
You're absolutely right, guys.
The-
It's terrible out there. I drive on it every day. You're 100% right. Stick to your gun there.
so,
There's many issues in the roadways that need to be addressed.
I just want to
I've
know what
lived-
miles. I just want to know what miles from our council member.
Right.
What miles do you want done? That's all I'm asking.
yeah, the biggest problem is those 2 miles of Richland
2 miles of Richland.
between Washington.
You're talking $70,000 approximately with gravel. We got that in the budget?
Well,
And Richland has been a problem further north as well, although I
mean,
don't, I haven't had.
I mean, we could go round and round with this, is what I'm saying,
Haven't
but
had-
if we're gonna direct him to do something, you gotta figure out, we're spending 70 grand worth of gravel. Where's it coming from? Do we have it? Is it in the budget?
Yeah, we budget for gravel distribution, yes.
I mean, so make a motion to direct the city staff to go fix Richland Road.
I'm asking for the city staff to contract with somebody to have ready.
We already have that.
We have that.
No, we don't.
Yes, we do.
I've
It's
explained
our time.
why it,
No,
that
listen.
it is not, it is a
you did not hit-
timeliness issue.
It's a timely
I've
issue on our
explained
side, on our side, not our trucking company.
I
We have
I
one
have-
road grader,
can I
one
s-
employee to do it.
Correct.
It's timing,
Exactly, it's timing.
not on a trucking company.
They're the ones delivering the rock. That's always been the delay.
It's not the delay.
Okay, I don't know what I'm talking about because I've never called the city manager about it and asked why we don't have the rock out there, all right? I've never had those kinds of conversations.
so it's the timing of getting the rock down before the road gets all muddy. Like,
No, yeah.
of identifying the locations that need it and addressing those issues before we have 3 inches of rain and it turns into a mud bog.
It's timing that
Well,
it
that's-
never gets done. And as the mayor, I'm sitting here going, put it on their schedule so that next time we get rain to where we can pack the road the right way, it's gravelled. That's the timing issue.
Well, and we do have a
I'd
dump truck
agree with
on
that.
order, is that correct?
Correct.
Yeah, and when are we supposed to take
July.
July.
July? So coming up in July.
We're a month
And
delayed.
then we'll be able to have a stockpile of rock on site.
Exactly.
And then, you know,
We
then
can
the haul
address it that
distance will be short, you know, we'll probably keep 500 tons stockpiled up. And then, you know, trucks can get out in a timely manner, you know, and then, but right now, we don't have really the method and the means to do it ourselves to be really responsive, like within hours, you know,
Oh,
think Byron-
I think days. I think sometimes.
I think
weeks
Byron's going on the
would be-
fact that this doesn't get
well,
done
we
for
don't, I
years.
mean, yeah.
And that's what I'm saying is it hadn't been done for years. Get it on a schedule.
Okay.
Yeah.
So could Mr. Slomock and the public works director just go drive the road and say, and Byron, you could say from here to here and this location here, this is a bad spots. This needs gravel. This needs to be addressed before we get a bunch of rain because it's going to be a mess. Would that be something that would help address your concerns?
I don't
I
think it needs to
think-
go that way. Because now you got city council member.
I've
John-
driven around before.
Okay, but I'm
Okay.
saying there's nothing wrong with one council member going out with the public works direction and say,
I've
hey,
driven
this is a
around.
problem.
I've driven around with the city manager.
Craig,
Okay.
Craig, I know you mentioned that, you know, applying rock when it's dry, you know, is a problem because you lose all the fines. And I don't know what our fire department tanker trucks have the capability to do. Can they spray water at all, down a road?
I
You know,
don't-
like
I
maybe
don't
when
think
there's a
they're-
pile of rock there?
I mean, the chief's out in the hallway, but no, I don't think.
As
they're
a
set
safety
up
measure,
for
I would say
spray-
you rent a water truck.
Yeah, spray nozzles, but the other thing is, obviously the
Pressures
timing,
and-
you know, and safety, having that available for that.
Could you do it with a
And
water
you're-
truck? Have you rented one?
We do not have a water truck, but yes, water trucks are available to rent for, again, weekly, monthly
Sure.
prices with,
Well, I know when,
so-
when the fire department needs extra water trucks, they usually call the public works department and say, can you please bring your water truck out to help put out the fire?
we
So,
don't have
Well,
a water.
You scratch my back,
Okay.
I scratch your
Okay,
back.
so is it a viable option to use a water truck to do what Ron's asking, or is that probably not gonna work? Like put down the water
Well,
for spreading gravel. I
yeah,
mean,
could
obviously
keep-
that had a cost
I-
to it. I don't disagree with that.
I could keep a water truck busy. Every day I keep a motor grader
Okay.
busy if that's
Exactly.
where
I
we
know.
decide to spend our resources.
So if I can make a recommendation, what I'd like to do is come back with a plan on how we want to address, whether that's equipment, timeliness. We'll look at the county contract to see exactly what's available, whether it's zone delivery, and then bring back to the city council this next month a recommendation.
That'd be great.
Okay.
And
I
in
don't-
the
that doesn't-
meantime, we'll work to get gravel on Richland
And
and
that
Frisco.
doesn't
We've-
require a motion, so.
No.
Okay.
But I'm trusting.
This,
We'll have it for you.
Okay.
this
heard
wouldn't
that?
be on our roads plan to,
And
pave this road anytime. in
It's
near
part of
future.
our maintenance plan. That's my whole point. It should already be done. And rain is coming. So do we have gravel on order?
Yeah, we need to.
I don't have gravel on order for a specific roadway right now. no.
I think there needs to be a motion made to go address 164th to 192nd on Richland Road. If you want it to get done, that's that's what I'm telling you.
Okay, I'll make that motion.
Like, I don't know how you make that
We need to
motion to
put
them.
the, I move
but-
that the city put resources in place to address Richland Road between 164th and 192nd for the inevitable muddy road that it's gonna be, when the rains come.
Can I request a not to exceed of $75,000 so I have the authority to go over? Because it's when we redid Sarah Road, it cost us over $65,000. So it's going to cost me more than my purchasing limit. So if I can go ahead and get that made in the
Okay,
motion.
and okay, and included in that motion, I move that, we allow the city manager to exceed his, purchase limit for this purpose.
Not to exceed 75.
Not to exceed 75,000? Okay, not to exceed $75,000.
I'll second that.
Byron,
Aye.
Ron,
Aye.
Matt,
Aye.
Jonathan,
Aye.
Rob.
Aye.
Hey, when they get that done, bring Briscoe Road in.
Yeah.
Just keep going, bro.
Okay.
Item C, discussion, consideration, and possible action to require the PMA manager to research, if possible, enter into a contract negotiations with the company to provide wrecker service to Piedmont residents and other road users when they get stuck.
Yeah, this is just another issue of the city needs to take some responsibility. I know that there are Piedmont residents who have pulled countless fellow residents out of sticky situations. And I don't want to discourage that kind of, helpful activity, but it's really not private Piedmont residents' responsibility to basically cover for the city. And it's responsibility to have roads decent enough that people aren't getting stuck. And, about a year ago, when it was wet, it was a constant problem. Here again, it was on Richland, mainly Richland. But at least in my experience, calls that I got. And it included my wife even at one point. So she was kindly enough pulled out by a Piedmont resident and managed to get home. But there were lots of others getting stuck. And here again, we didn't have the resources in place on a timely basis to respond to the road situation. And so if we're gonna continue to be in these situations where we have that kind of problem, we need to take responsibility and get people out of the mud. That's the point. And if we want to use just city resources to do that, that's fine. If we need a wrecker service, then we need to contract with somebody.
So using city resources introduces risk. So if we have one of our city forces out there using their vehicles and we damage a vehicle, then that falls back on our insurance. Whereas if we go out, we pass a little bit of that risk on to the wrecker service. The other concern is we were all high school kids at one time, right? And we all tried to find that muddy road to go mudding in. How do we delineate between the fun goers and the ones who just get stuck? Those are my only concerns.
Well, that's a good question. I don't get calls from the people who are just having fun.
A lot of those fun goers like to have tow roads in their
A lot of those fun goers are the ones tearing up the road.
Yeah.
Instead of just driving down it smooth, they're the ones putting the roots in it, but.
Yeah.
A lot of those tow companies will come out.
They will not, or they will. Yeah.
Most of them will not, that we've encountered.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got city tires anyway too. They're just gonna get stuck.
Well, I don't know. Maybe the solution here is just to
I will tell you this.
keep the roads up.
In my opinion, we do have a tort claim that if it is the city's fault, they can file the tort claim. It'll go through the process. That way that they are having to show that it is our fault. It's not just nature. Like, I mean, you see what I'm saying there?
Yeah.
That way, like, people would understand that's the process.
Do we have anything where a resident can make a claim for compensation for all the people they pull out of the mud?
They do it all day long on their bent rims, on potholes. I don't think it'd be any different.
No, either.
No,
I think he's talking
I'm
about-
talking about somebody who pulls other people out of the mud.
Oh.
I don't think that's covered under our policy.
I don't think it's covered underneath the individual's policy
Yeah, I
for
mean,
pulling out
it's
of the mud
not-
either. I've been in trouble for that.
It's you choosing to do something. It's not the city's,
Yeah.
fault that
Entitled
you
to that
decided to do something and damage your own vehicle versus them not keeping up, us not keeping up the roads and damaging your vehicle. I think it's two different things. But I definitely think that if I get stuck on Piedmont's road because they're not maintaining it, then I should be compensated through a tort claim if I have to pay somebody to come pull me out.
Agreed.
But
Well, we just started out, you might not be able to.
yeah,
get somebody
that's
to
my
get you out.
concern is that a wrecker service would be like, I'm not coming, let's tell you that they're not coming out there. They're not
They'll
gonna,
come when
because
it
they might
starts.
get stuck, they don't want to, whatever, that's,
Right.
that would be my concern.
We're gonna compensate people for spending the night in their car.
It never ends. But I heard from multiple people tonight that they would rather have those dirt roads than something else. They like the rural area. Just saying. Learn to drive on it. I
Well, if this is
did ask a lady.
impractical, if it's an impractical item, fine, but, I'll withdraw it, but the,
I would say this, Byron. Stick to your guns, absolutely, on getting your roads fixed out there. That's your ward. You need to keep hammering at it. When we run out of the money, then you're gonna get told we ran out of money. We're gonna have to figure it out. But there's money in there for maintenance for this stuff. And so I would much rather us take item C off
oh,
and just do a better job at making the roads passable.
yeah, I agree with that.
But-
And I also think, it helps when everybody, I'm the only person on the west side of.
Listen,
Piedmont.
I know nature happens and you guys are gonna come at me for saying this, but did a lot of these people take helicopters to buy this house? Cause I'm pretty sure our roads have been this way for 100 years.
Right. Well, I mean, I've heard from people who
We're
said.
trying. We've done a lot, guys.
Oh, yeah, I agree with that.
And we're not far off
we-
from getting it
We
done.
had opportunities to do a little bit more a month ago, but we didn't take that.
Hey, it is election time for the Canadian County Commissioner.
Well,
Just saying.
But this is our responsibility. And,
Well, I know, but he's the one that can haul his gravel. He can bring out a road grader.
well, we need to take responsibility for our roads too.
We are.
I mean, if we want to try to solicit bids for record services come pull people out of the mud, I say let's do it. And we'll see what we get. We may get nothing. We may get 5 bids. I don't know.
You're willing to pay the city money to pull somebody out of the mud?
It depends on what they want to charge us. We don't have to accept the bid. We can reject it because we determine that it's not a best, whatever the language is. I can't remember.
I've got a really big problem with this because now we're using city funds to pick a company for people to call to pull them out. So it's not a free market anymore. You have to use this company. Otherwise, they could just turn in a tort claim and get it covered that way. The other part of this is it's a Band-Aid. I don't want people to.
Of course it is.
Well, that's my problem is instead of putting a Band-Aid on it, let's just, like he said, hammer on it, getting the roads fixed to what you want and just keep going that route. There's a huge liability in my mind by going this route for the city.
Yeah, and
That's my.
and we go on with these problems for 2-3 years or so
I like the idea.
because I
of
get
tort claim
outvoted 4-1.
Of what?
I like the idea of a tort claim. You call their guy and pull them out, he'll come out, and we'll get reimbursed for it.
So I'd have to talk to OMAG to see if that's covered under the tort claim process. I mean,
Well,
it's
I
on,
didn't say it would be. I just said
Do
they
it for
could fill it out.
potholes.
well, you fill out the form, you pay essentially what would happen if it was reimbursed is they would pay the tow truck driver, then they would have to show a receipt, they'd have to take pictures, they'd have to have evidence, there's an evidentiary hearing with OMAG, and then they would make a decision on whether or not they pay the claim or not. I don't even know if it's covered, so I'd have to check with OMAG to see if it's covered under our policy.
Better than what they got.
So then what if we went that route and had the city manager talk to OMAG and investigate if they could go the tort claim route and try to push it that direction instead of the city picking who people should call?
I mean, and we could also at the same time,
The city isn't just picking who. The free market is in the bid process because the city's going to be paying the record service. So I don't see what your argument is on the market issue. And if
sorry, you don't
if
see it
they
that way.
bid to be available, yeah, that's who the citizen calls because that's the company that prevailed and is going to be available according to a contract with the city.
I think there's a lot deeper into this than what we see on the front, but if you guys wanted to go out for bid and see what we get back, I mean, the record companies might say, they might give us some information back saying, hey, so-and-so tried this and it failed.
They
And
might
this
come
is-
back and say we want qualified immunity like the city has too. If we damage somebody's vehicle,
Yeah.
then we don't want to be held responsible. Then whatever is that called?
Well, I think that would be worth it.
Indemnification?
We discuss it at the time.
Yeah. I mean, you can always ask and see what you get. And if you don't like what you get, then you don't have to accept it. So
I move the table item C until the city manager can have further discussions with the city attorney and our insurance company.
Second.
Byron,
Aye.
Matt,
Aye.
Ron,
Aye.
Rob,
Aye.
Jonathan.
aye.
I have no new business for this meeting. Is that correct, sir?
I have none.
Without objection, I'd like to leave the PMA and reconvene to the city council meeting. Item C, discussion and consideration and possible action on city manager's yearly performance. This is going to be a vote to go into executive session.
I move that we go to executive session for the city manager's yearly performance review.
Second.
Rob,
Aye.
Jonathan,
Aye.
Matt,
Aye.
Ron,
Aye.
and Byron.
Aye.
We will be back.
and Brent are twins then. I say that, I just got back from one.
Showing us out.
Need the caffeine to get home.
Oh, I just had to start a new room.
I
think that's why we were all on board with it.
Or DoorDash brought dinner in, you know?
They do that in Texas. Legislature.
Sure.
Committee hearing. Where are we at?
You mind if I skip yours tonight? Yeah. I can skip it. Oh my gosh. No action taken in executive session, of course. Really good review. Probably the best review that we've done since I've been mayor. To be honest with you guys, I really like the format that Matt came up with and helped us to get through that. Anyway, I have no new business on the city council. Let's go to item number 11, city manager's reports.
So I know you wanted to skip me, but I think it's really important. This week is National Public Works Week. And so just being able to take the opportunity to highlight our Public Works Department. Earlier this year, we hired a new Public Works Director, and we've kind of restructured the way that Public Works is. We now have a water, wastewater superintendent. We just hired a street superintendent. That individual will start next Tuesday. So looking forward to getting him on board. He's got over 10 years of experience in streets, wastewater, and water with Oklahoma City. And so we're fortunate that he applied and is coming over to help us.
Is he somewhat local, Piedmont School District?
He is. Actually, I don't really want to tell his business, but he's really involved with the schools. He works concessions at the games, helps with the band. So, he's invested in the local community, which is helpful to have somebody that is here with us and can appreciate the things that we still have to strive to, correct, but still be able to take, representative of his own community. So he's not leaving here going, forget them. Anyway, so the public works guys, we've got a really great group of individuals. We have a really young crew. I think probably on average, they've been here less than 2 years. They've got the system nailed down. We've got a couple of folks that have been here a while. Brent Young has been here a while. George Fina has been here a while, but for the most part, I mean, more than 80% of the crew is new, and they're eager. You'll see them out there. We recently, gotten them shirts that say Public Works on the back. So now when they're, walking around on the side of the road, or if they're in your backyard, you're like, who is this? So now they're identifiable. But I just really want to say those guys are dedicated. 2:00 in the morning, the phone rings, they come out, they answer the phone, they're down in the muck and the mire, and they really do. I've spent a lot of time with them over since last summer, and they really do have a heart for service for this community. So if you see our Public Works guys out and about, shake their hands, tell them thank you, take it easy on them. It's not all their fault. They're here to help just like the rest of us. So thank you to our Public Works and our Public Works Department for all you do. You truly are first responders. You do finish out the triad for first responders with the police, fire, and Public Works, because no doubt if something happens in our community, they're going to be one of the first ones to respond. So I just want to say thank you to them. Mr. Mayor, yield back.
Meeting adjourned.